What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 65 of the Hive Mind podcast. Be sure to check out the podcast on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Twitch. Got a good bit of stuff to talk about, but let's start off with the Super Bowl. I recorded the last episode before the Super Bowl started, and let's talk about it. So it was a great game, in my opinion, the best Super Bowl ever, of all the ones that I've watched. The only Super Bowl to ever go into overtime, and I have a little bit of a bone to pick with overtime in the Super Bowl. It's sudden death, so a lot of it came down to that coin toss. Like it's a bullshit rule. While the team that I predicted to win did win, so I guess I came out a winner that night. I do not like the overtime rules in the NFL, especially the Super Bowl. I can't believe they do this. So the way it works is, if it's a tie game and they go into overtime, they flip the coin. You pick heads or tails. You win the toss. You obviously want the ball first, right? And if you score, then you win the game. So the game really does come down to, a lot of the times, that heads or tails coin flip, which is crazy because in college football, I believe this is still true. I know it was true for a while. The other team has a chance to answer. So let's say you win the coin toss, and you get the ball, you score, then the other team has a chance to score, and then it's, back and forth until one team scores and another team can't score. So that's how it should be, but that's not how it was in the Super Bowl. So the Patriots won the toss, got the ball, scored, and won. So I think that's fucking bullshit. The Falcons should have at least had a chance to answer. I don't think they would have answered. I think the Patriots would have stopped them. I think the Patriots still would have won. But still pretty dumb, in my opinion, that's the way it is. So let's talk about some of the politics around the Super Bowl. I got some things wrong in the last podcast, and I'll admit to it. So, Lady Gaga, I said she was gonna do some cringy political statement in the last podcast. Turns out, not the case. While I'm not a huge fan of her, style of music or, I don't know, the whole undermining democracy shit she's tried to do with the Electoral College. If you're not familiar, Lady Gaga was one of those people championing the Electoral College to not elect Trump in, and saying she would pay the legal fees because it is, I believe, against the law for an Electoral College person to not vote the way their state voted. They get a fine, and it's a pretty hefty one. So she was saying, don't vote for Trump, Electoral College voters, undermine democracy. I'll pay for those fees. So I'm not a fan of her for that reason, but good for her for not doing some cringy political statement. I was wrong. I figured it was going to happen. And while I don't like her music really, or her style of dressing up like somebody from the fucking Hunger Games and doing some weird shit, she put on, I would say, a pretty good show. It was pretty fucking ridiculous. She was flying around the stadium, actually singing her songs, and doing some pretty crazy shit. So, thumbs up, I guess. There were some people. Now, this is crazy to me. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I can't believe I'm talking about this on the podcast, but people were body shaming Lady Gaga, and I actually think this is ridiculous enough to talk about. So people were saying, people were going, "Oh, she's so brave to go out there and show her belly," implying that she's fat. And I'm not one of these people that says that fat women aren't fat when they fucking are. But Lady Gaga is in ridiculous shape, and I think people are assuming that her belly right there, that she's got a real belly. I think that's more of a side effect of these fucking super tight pants. If you look at her bottoms there, whatever you'd call those sparkling fucking things, that's just what happens when you wear tight pants. I've got some tight boxer briefs, and when I take them off, my stomach gets more flat because that's just the fucking, it's pushing some shit up. I don't know. So I disagree with the people saying she was fat, but I also disagree with the people saying she's fucking brave, because she looks good as fuck when she's not dressed up as somebody from the fucking Hunger Games. So she's not brave, but she's definitely not fat. And to say she's not in good shape is a little ridiculous, because anybody... anybody that has any sort of camera experience or singing, even if you do this, have you ever been singing along to a song in the car and you fucking lose your breath? You're like, how do they fucking do this? A lot of that is because songs are stitched together. They're not actual songs that people are intended to sing on stage. They're pieced together, like, oh, you sing this chorus thing and then we'll piece it together in post-production and whatever. It's not an actual one fluid song, right? So some of these songs, it's like impossible to sing along with because you just run out of breath. You're like, da da da, sing your song. You're like, and you're like, how do they sing this shit, right? Also, if you've ever been a YouTuber or been a part of solo podcasting, I've gotten better at this through the years. But when you're not having a normal conversation with somebody, like in a normal conversation, you talk, then I talk, and I kind of catch my breath while you're talking. When you're just talking by yourself, even sitting down like this, it is very easy to lose your breath because there's no natural breaks. There's no natural time for you to be like, all right, I get to breathe a little bit. So anyway, where I'm going with this is, if you've ever, sang along with the radio and it's a high tempo song, you can kind of lose your breath a little bit, right? This bitch is singing hard, loud, doing weird dance moves, flying around a stadium, and changing uniforms super fast. So to be able to do all of that simultaneously while singing, not missing a beat, she's in really good shape. It's undeniable she's in very good shape to be able to do that. So, yes, I can't believe we talked about Lady Gaga being body shamed as a podcast topic, but it happened, believe it or not. What else we got going on with the Super Bowl? The ads. So, the Budweiser ad. I did not think this was bad at all. I thought that was a very good ad. A lot of people, like, let's check the YouTube. A lot of conservatives were up in arms about Budweiser, saying that, oh, we're gonna protest Budweiser because they're doing this social justice warrior immigration shit. I did not see that Budweiser ad as a political statement at all. I thought it was pretty damn tasteful. How is it a political statement? The dudes, the people in that fucking ad entered the country legally through Ellis Island. Like, you saw the passports and shit get stamped and whatever. It wasn't like the Lumber 84 or whatever the fuck that. We'll talk about that later. But it was some guy coming in through the books, opening an American business. I mean, it's not American anymore, but making a business in America. Like, I don't know. I thought it was a fucking good ad. Let's see what the like to dislike ratio is. Budweiser commercial. It's probably the first one. Born the Hard Way. Yeah, so it's got some dislikes, but I thought it was tasteful. I didn't think this was a political statement at all. Essentially what this ad is, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but it's Bush and Anheuser meeting up, and it kind of goes to the history of how Budweiser started and them coming to America and starting up this brewery. And you see right here, they fucking they come in legally. They come in on the steamboat, and I guess the steamboat fucking caught on fire. I wonder if that actually happened. Who knows? But then, they make it, and I guess I missed that part. Whatever. I thought it was a good ad, so I did not think that was a political statement at all. The 84 Lumber. I bet the dislikes on this is crazy. 84 Lumber ad. I bet this is fucking ridiculous. This was really? I was expecting a lot more than that. This is fucking crazy. This was a straight up propaganda piece by 84 Lumber. This fucking thing is so long they had to put the entire 84 Lumber Super Bowl commercial, the entire journey. They made a 5-minute piece about this mother and daughter struggling, making it to the border, just to get to the border and find out that Trump built this big fucking... Well, let me find it here. Let me find the dramatic moment. So you see these guys building the Great Wall of Trump. the woman and her daughter are all innocent and sad, and they look and they get to the border where they're getting ready to illegally enter the country, and there's a big fucking wall. A big fucking Great Wall of Trump. And then I think, is this where the little girl picks up? The little girl, this is such fucking horseshit. They walk up to the wall, and I guess they're like, fuck, motherfucker built this wall way taller than we were expecting. Shit. And then the little girl, for fucking whatever reason, made an American flag. She takes off her backpack. And she made an American flag out of fucking trash she picked up on the way. Are you fucking kidding me with this bullshit? What a load of horse shit. Honestly. Fuck. That's just like the most unrealistic shit ever. Oh yeah, this two innocent, completely innocent, like, whatever. I just don't buy it, dude. I don't buy it. Where's the fucking commercial with the MS-13 gang members coming over with their fucking machetes and drugs? Where's that commercial? Anyway. And the, oh yeah, I forgot the grand finale of the whole thing. 84 Lumber, they're, the ending to this commercial is fucking ridiculous. They I guess built a door. They built a door in the middle of the wall that this lady just pushes open. This is the fucking dumbest commercial I've ever seen. They built a fucking saloon style cowboy doors that they push open. Because they're the fucking, like, what's the angle on this? Whatever. Fuck 84 Lumber. They can kiss my ass. Audi had a wage gap commercial. That was pretty shitty. If I'm remembering correctly, it was like a woman, like a little girl was racing boys in this like Pinewood Derby style thing with like little makeshift go-karts, and the woman and the girl won but didn't win because the non-existent wage gap is a thing. Fucking what a load of shit that was too. That was bad. But other than that, things were pretty okay. There wasn't any like really funny commercials in my opinion. The only one that I got a laugh out of was the Bud Light one with the dog, and that wasn't like hilarious. And a lot of people, even that one, I think it's even that one people didn't like. Yeah, the Bud Light Ghost Spuds. I thought this was a pretty funny commercial. But even that one, 5,900 likes, 2,400 dislikes. Like, I don't think anybody liked any of the fucking ads. Like, I didn't think there were that many, like, really funny ads. There were some, like good ones from, like, I thought the Budweiser one was pretty good. Dude, Budweiser, they need to go back to the fucking Clydesdales and Golden Retrievers, and they've had some, in my opinion, Budweiser normally always has some fucking commercial that just makes you cry. Like, if you want to go on a fields trip, go, let me find one. Like, we're gonna cry on the podcast together. Budweiser, Clydesdale's dude, like, they're always so fucking heartfelt. Puppy Love, the Clydesdale. Oh, which one is the? They did a 9/11 one that was good. That they only aired once. Puppy Love. Okay, let's do the Puppy Love one. All right, we're gonna watch this on the podcast. This shit, dude, it makes me a big tough guy, just a big softy. All right, let's do it. Oh my god, it's one of the worst videos ever. Fucking assholes. I hate when people do this. I clicked on the video, it says Budweiser Clydesdale Puppy Love 2014 commercial. And then they show some fucking ass clown talking about the commercial, not the actual commercial. Oh, I think this one might actually play it. Let's see.
Exception. Best Buds is perfect. Take a look.
Oh, okay, here we go. It's gonna... Wait. Okay, it plays the whole thing. All right, never mind. This fucking commercial is so good, dude. Right in the feels.
Well, you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go.
Dude, I'm gonna get content ID'd for this.
And you let her go.
Beer, puppies.
That's fucking adorable. I guess that guy just said, fuck it, I'm not buying that golden retriever now that these Clydesdales are chasing me around. That would be some fucked up shit. You're driving, you got your brand new puppy you just picked up, and there's like 6 Clydesdales chasing after you. You're like, what? This always happen? Anyway, Budweiser, they've got, like, there's like 10 years of commercials like that. That's not even the real tearjerker. Should we watch another one? Because there's one that's even more, way more. There's one with the Clydesdale chasing the truck or whatever. Oh, fuck. I don't want to have this whole podcast be sappy fucking Budweiser commercials, but they've got some really good ones. Oh, this is the one. All right, we're gonna watch this one. I'm sorry. This is the one that was like, when I watched it, I was like, fuck. Fucking Budweiser, right in the feels. All right, here we go. Please don't content ID me, YouTube. You fucks. The baby horse.
I climbed a mountain and I turned around. Well,
I've been afraid of
changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. Oh, take my love, take it down. Oh, climb a mountain and turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, where the landslide bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, where the landslide bring it down.
fucking A, Budweiser. Fucking A. Dude, Budweiser doesn't fuck around with his Clydesdale commercials, man. They need to go back to that. Right in the feels, man. Oh, I say some cold-hearted shit on this podcast, but fucking A, Budweiser, just those commercials, man, they're so good. All right, let's get away from that. I don't want to do that on podcast. Got to turn in my man card. Oh, we got some fun shit here. So the FIFA YouTubers that were oh my god, this shit's actually blowing up. The FIFA YouTubers that were promoting that the gambling and the crazy FIFA token generators, and I'm not a big FIFA guy, but I know there's like a big black market surrounding that game with the cards and the tokens, and a lot of YouTubers making a ton of money off of that stuff. Well, two of these guys have had charges, like serious charges, faced on them. One guy's got to pay a fine of $112,000. Another guy's got to pay 164,000 pounds. And these guys are YouTubers with 1.3 million subscribers. That's a lot of fucking money. But yeah, this whole like online gambling stuff with video games is starting to, like, there's a lot of people that are getting in some shit. So I'm curious if our lads T Martin and Syndicate are gonna get in trouble for their CS:GO Lotto stuff, because they made a ton of money off that. And I wonder what happened to what was that streamer, Phantom Lord? That guy just pieced out. Like, I guess he's just got his money and is gone. I wonder if he'll ever resurge or if he's just gone forever. I find this stuff pretty fascinating to see how people, like what people do when shit hits the fan like this. If they just turn, just walk away, or just keep going. Like, I don't think I could ever walk away from the YouTube thing. I definitely could take a big break. Like, I definitely could be one of those guys that only posted a video once every 3 months or something. That wouldn't be uncommon. I mean, I think the longest I've ever gone without posting a video was like 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe. Like, one time I didn't make a video for like 3 weeks, which is kind of crazy that I've been doing this like this consistently for 7 years now almost. Jesus. I got more than 3,000 videos. How many videos do I have? I think I can check right here. I have got 3,073 videos. Now, not all of those are public, but most of them are. Because I think I had like a few Let's Plays I ended up taking down because I ended up redoing them. But I think I have like 3,050 videos that are actually up. So, anyway, let's move it on. What are we going to hit up next here? Oh. Let me see here. Oh boy. Some good news out of Sweden. Look at this. Fucking Sweden, the rape capital of the world. Here we go. A Yemeni man in Sweden recently sentenced to 18 months of probation and treatment for raping a 13-year-old girl. The main reason he dodged actual prison time and only has to pay a $17,000 fine is because he claimed to be younger on his forged passport. So this guy forged his passport, and that's why he got off. This guy raped a 13-year-old Swedish girl, and he's not even going to get deported. He goes to prison for 2 months, 18 months probation, doesn't even get deported. On a fake passport. What is going on in Sweden? We are very happy that he was convicted. This is from the mother. We are very happy that he was convicted, but the punishment is very disappointing. You don't fucking say your fucking 13-year-old got anally raped by a... Fuck. Jesus. As far as and as far as I know, we never got to see a valid birth certificate other than the person was born in 1999. How can we get on with him in our city, the mother added. We don't want him here. No fucking shit. No fucking shit. Alright. What else we got on the bookmarks here? Oh, we got Time Magazine. Time Magazine wrote a piece about how we should deport Trump. Or not deport Trump. That would be funny if we deported Trump. Why Congress should impeach Donald Trump. A legit article by Time Magazine. Essentially saying that he should be deported because he owns businesses, and or did I say deported again? He should be impeached. Have I been saying deported the whole time? Fuck, I'm retarded. Basically, they're saying that he should be impeached because he owns businesses that his decisions like influence as president. Which is kind of fucking bullshit. Because, like, can you just never be president if you own businesses? Like, there's no way you could even like the car business. Like, if my dad was president, like, there's no way that his decisions as president wouldn't influence his business in one way or another. It's just impossible. So this is crazy. I mean, you've got Trump who, I don't think he is using his presidency to influence his own business, because he doesn't fucking have the guy's obviously not driven by profit. He's not taking a salary as president. He spent an ungodly amount of money on his own campaign to become president. Like, the dude just wants to be president for the sake of being president, for the sake of his ego. I don't think he's motivated financially at all. I think he's just, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think he's some saint. I don't think he's like doing this strictly because he wants to make the fucking nation better. I think he does a little bit, but he wants the legacy. He wants to be President fucking Trump, and I think he'll he'll try his best to do a good job, because that's all he wants. Like, he wants to go down in history as being a good president, because what the fuck else do you, like, you're a billionaire. What else you got? What else do you have to do? Like, oh, yeah, he's Donald Trump. He's worth, what, $4 billion? Oh, he wants to make it, he wants to become president so he can be worth $6 billion. Like, he has so much fucking money that it's irrelevant. So, I think it's ridiculous that people are assuming that he's using his presidency to make even more money. I just don't see that it just doesn't make sense from a personal point of view. I feel like he's in it for his own ego, which, in my opinion, for a politician, I think is actually probably a good thing, because you got a guy like, can he be bought? Like, really? He's got so much fucking money that I just don't see the influence of money in politics really affecting him as much as someone else. So anyway, I don't know what's going off with that. I will segue into my next topic around that, though, because it's not all good news from the Trump camp. The Ivanka thing. Let me see if I can still find this on Twitter. POTUS. So he was going off on Nordstrom, on the official president, the official president of the United States Twitter account. Yeah, okay, so here's what he did. He tweeted out on his own personal account, "My daughter Ivanka has been treated so unfairly by Nordstrom. She is a great person, always pushing me to do the right thing. Terrible!" Exclamation mark. So he tweeted that on his own Twitter, and then he retweeted it on the official president of the United States Twitter. And I don't agree with that at all. I don't think he's got some profit motive to make his daughter's brand sell more. But at the same time, the fucking president of the United States shouldn't be shitting on Nordstrom because Nordstrom decided not to carry his daughter's clothing line, especially not on the official president of the United States Twitter account. I think that's a little ridiculous, and I think Nordstrom is shitty for doing what they're doing, but at the same time, the president of the United States should not be doing this shit. And here's the thing, the free market will correct itself. Nordstrom is stupid for doing what they're doing, but that her daughter, or Ivanka, is going to sell more fucking clothes because of Nordstrom being shitty than she would if she didn't. It's going to be the same thing that happened to like Chick-fil-A, where Chick-fil-A made way more money when people were protesting it than they ever did when people weren't. There will be people that didn't give a fuck about Ivanka Trump's clothing line that will now be buying it in droves to make a political statement. Whereas the people that are protesting it probably wouldn't have bought it in the first place. And anytime you have something out in the limelight like this, it's free publicity. It's only going to help her. The free market will only correct itself. And while Nordstrom might take her stuff out of their product line, somebody else is dying to pick it up. And we live on an online world. She's probably selling so much of that shit online that, yeah, it's crazy. This is not a big deal. I don't know why the president of the United States has to talk about it. So, yeah, not a fan of that that particular bit of Trump news. So a lot of people probably think I'm like the biggest Trump fanboy ever. Not really. No, I'm not even a huge fan of the man himself. I'm just kind of a fan of what he's done to politics and how he's shaken the beehive a lot. I find it fascinating. What else we got this week? Christie Brinkley. Let's find that on the podcast bookmarks here. She is a fucking vampire. Did I bookmark it? Ah, there it is. All right. Christie Brinkley at 63 looks like that. And apparently she is Jesus Christ too, because she is walking on water. But yeah, Christie Brinkley is legitimately a fucking vampire. There she is with her 2 daughters at age 63. She qualifies for Medicare in 2 years, and that's what she looks like. So I'm not convinced, and her daughters are hot as fuck too. That's not really much of a surprise. But yeah, Christie Brinkley looking good at 63. Fucking A. So good for her. I'm sure there's lots of plastic surgery or something going. Like, there's no way that's natural. There's some sort of either insane amounts of plastic surgery or witchcraft. Like, there is no in between. There is something going on. That's not normal. So it's either that. She either made a deal with Satan, or it's witchcraft, or the greatest medical technology ever. Anyway. Let's move it on. 20 people killed and 45 injured in bombing in Kabul Supreme Court. Nobody cares. Moving on. Oh, fun times. Ted Cruz owning Bernie Sanders. This is a fun little clip we get to play.
But let me make
So Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders got into had a debate. I guess a town hall debate or something. I don't know what the context was for them having it other than just to shit talk each other. But Bernie Sanders got fucking raped in this debate. Like, really bad by Ted Cruz. And Ted Cruz, I wasn't a big fan of Ted Cruz during the election because he went like super religtard, and I don't know. I thought he was just kind of lame during the actual time where he was trying to become president. But now, every time I see Ted Cruz, or every time I hear about Ted Cruz, it's always something fucking hilarious and awesome. So I think I'm slowly becoming a fan of Ted Cruz because everything out of the Ted Cruz camp has been great as of recently. And this is another example of Ted Cruz just being a fucking savage. So here we go. Ted Cruz shuts down Bernie Sanders' socialist Bernie care. Let's play this clip.
But let me make a broader point on taxes, which is many times in this debate, Bernie has talked about providing health care for free from the government. You know what? The simplest principle in economics is Tonstoffel. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch. The liberal-leaning Urban Institute scored Bernie's health plan, concluded it would cost $2.5 trillion in the first year and $32 trillion over 10 years. Now, how much is that? Trillions is a big number. It's not clear what that is. Let me put it in perspective. All of the federal income taxes we pay today are about $1.5 trillion a year. $2.5 trillion means every one of us paying income taxes would have to about triple what you pay in income taxes to get an additional $2.5 trillion. Now, Bernie, no doubt, is going to come back and say, no. None of you are going to pay. Just the rich. Well, how about if we took every person that makes over $1 million a year and confiscated 100% of their income, took every penny that they make? That would raise only enough money to fund Bernie's plan for 5 months. Here's another idea. How about if the government confiscated the assets of Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and ExxonMobil? If it came in, illegally seized those companies and sold them, that would pay for 1 year of Bernie's plan. If you don't want to see your taxes triple, in addition to the wait list, in addition to the rationing, in addition to fewer MRIs and mammograms to worse care, then you don't want to see Bernie's Medicaid for all. You want to see cheap, affordable health care that you can choose that puts you in control.
Dude, Ted Cruz just fucking raped him. And there's like a million little clips of that through this debate. It was a long time. It was a fairly long debate. But damn, dude, those are numbers. Like, that's not Like, that's just the way it is. Like, he's fucking right. And here's the thing with healthcare, right? So the healthcare in the United States is fucking awesome. It's the best in the world. That's why it's so expensive. And the reason why other countries have free healthcare is that they pay much higher taxes. Much higher taxes. I think I was talking to some of my Europe. I can't remember which countries they were from, but a lot of countries, like if you make like a decent amount of money, you pay 40% taxes. Like the average tax rate for most countries is higher. For most of these, like, free healthcare countries, their average tax rate is like double what we pay in the United States. So like there's countries, I think it's like Denmark and whatever, where it's like 40% tax, 40% income tax is just like fucking normal. Like people just pay that. Even the most insanely wealthy people, I think, only pay 40% or maybe 45% in our country. I don't know off the top of my head. That's progressive tax as well. So it's not fucking free. And everyone across the world, yes, there are some cases where the government can help with like government contracts for hip replacements and stuff like that. I think I support it. It's just hard. It's very complicated. It's very hard for me to have like a stance on healthcare because it's so complicated. People think it's as simple as involving the government, which is normally makes everything 100 times fucking worse. So my stance on it as of right now is less government is better, and I'm not a huge fan of the socialist form of health insurance. I just think it's a bad idea. It doesn't solve the root problem of the insurance or of healthcare just being fucking insanely expensive. And here's the thing. Healthcare is insanely expensive for a good reason. It takes a lot to become a doctor. You have to go to school for basically fucking forever. And it's a hard job, and only really fucking smart people can do it. So what this means is that those people have to be incentivized. They have to be paid a lot of money because it takes a lot to become one. They also have to have malpractice insurance, and there's a whole lot of bullshit there. But the free market has decided that healthcare professionals need to make money, and I agree with that. And also, people want safe drugs. So in order to make a drug in this country, it costs so much fucking money. And people love to talk about the profit margins of like big pharma and shit like that. But, take it from me. Me and my family, we have invested in medicine before. We've invested in some of these, pharmacy, what's the word? Labs? I don't know. We've invested in new treatments and things before for like, I don't want to get into specifics, but essentially we've invested in big pharma and been, an investor. And here's the thing with that. It's fucking hit or miss, dude. It's like playing roulette. It takes billions of dollars. And so many of the times where you have these investors just push all the chips in and say, I hope for the best, it just doesn't work out. So you have to keep that in mind, that's why everything is so expensive, because it takes billions of dollars to make one of these drugs. And then you finally do make this drug, and it might not even be that fucking great. Like, by the time you get it passed to the FDA and all this shit, it might not even be that great. So can you really blame? It's way just, it's shitty. Like, that's, I realize I sound like a babbling idiot right now, but it costs so much to do anything in medicine. So when I hear about big pharma profits and people making billions of dollars off of these drugs, at the same time I go, well, I know a lot of people that have invested tons of money into these drugs and lost tons of money at the same time as well. So it's risky and, risk reward. So like I'm totally fucking capitalist here. Like the free market has decided that healthcare is expensive, and I'm a big capitalist, right? So like part of me is like healthcare is expensive because it should be expensive because that's what the free market has decided. But at the same time, I definitely get the argument that it's not fair because You either get the healthcare, and in some situations, it's either like you either get that heart valve that costs a shitload of money because the free market has decided it does, or you die. So it's not really like a free market, situation in that particular case. But is there a better alternative? Like, no. I mean, it's tough. Like, healthcare is a tough cookie because it's inherently extremely valuable, and there are situations where you gotta take it or you die, and that's just the way it is. So I don't have a fucking answer for it. It's a tough question. I think ultimately the only thing you can do is just be more financially responsible, which is something that people just fucking aren't. People love people don't want to, like, how do I word this? I guess it's easier for people to pay 40% in income taxes and not save their money for like a healthcare expense. Like, what I've done is I've got money set aside in case I have to, something happens. That's what I do. Most people don't fucking do that. Most people, something medical happens, the shit hits the fan, but meanwhile they've got a brand new car with a car payment, and they've got a house that they really shouldn't have probably bought. It's probably a little bit too much of a house for them. So, yeah. But I would much rather save my money than give more of my money to the fucking government. I'd rather be like, hey, I want lower taxes. I will be financially responsible and set money aside in case something happens, or, pay for health insurance, whatever. I would much rather have my money than give it to the fucking government, who will spend it wastefully through tons and tons of managerial bureaucracy, and just the government. This is not just the United States government. This is every fucking government. It's just they do everything the most inefficient way possible. So my stance on healthcare, I think, let the free market decide. I mean, is there really a better option? Like, I know it's shitty. I know it's shitty that if some drug company has a drug that you have to pay $100 a week for, or you die. Like, I realize that's shitty, but at the same time, that pill that you're taking wouldn't exist if there wasn't a profit. If there wasn't a profit to be made for developing it. Like, if there was no profit incentive, investors wouldn't have put up billions of dollars for that pill that you need to survive. Like, it wouldn't exist. You'd be dead. So we owe a lot of our, advances. We owe a lot of them, most of them, to capitalism. So, yeah, I get that it sucks, but I think that's the best way to go about it. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm sure that there could be some improvements. Something I've mentioned in the past that could help, that other countries have done with some success. I think the UK does this some with the National Healthcare Service they've got, where they will give out a government contract for specific things. Like, for example, a heart valve. They'll go to all the big drug companies and say, hey, we're going to give out a government contract. Whichever one of you guys can make the best, cheapest heart valve gets the contract for the next 2 years. So all these companies are competing against each other, trying to make this thing the best and the lowest price possible. And then that, in effect, since they're all, cumulatively competing against each other for this government contract, and whoever gets it, it's obviously lucrative. In effect, makes the heart valves cheaper, right? So I think there could be some things done, but I think for the most part, less is more, and free market, baby. Rah, rah, rah. Anyway, that's my healthcare rant. Moving on. What we got next here? Majority of Europeans say Muslim immigration should be stopped. This is a poll that came out. Overall, across 10 European countries, an average of 55% agreed that all further immigration from mainly Muslim countries should be stopped. 25% neither agreed nor disagreed, and 20% disagreed. The think tank said, adding that no country did the percentage that disagreed surpass 32%. Now, I think this statistic, this poll, is skewed even further. I think that this 55% is probably higher than that, because I think that it sounds insensitive to be like, fuck those people coming from that war-torn area. Fuck them. So I think in reality it's probably higher than that. I think that there's a lot of closet nationalists, I guess. That I love how that's a fucking bad word to say you're like a nationalist and you're like, I don't know, proud of your country and like you want to like keep your country borders a thing. So I think in reality that 55% is probably much higher than that, because there's a lot of people that it just doesn't sound very good to be like, fuck those Syrians, dude. I don't give a fuck. So yeah, Europe is dude, it's gonna be so fucking interesting to see what happens in Europe with that what is it, France? They've got their own little version of Trump. That's that chick, what's her name? Le Pen or whatever. She's like a little French Trump apparently. And then Germany's got an election coming up. I think that Angela Merkel woman will probably lose. I think this is my prediction, and I've been wrong, but I've also been right. I predicted that Trump was going to win back in March. I think that Europe is going to get their own little mini versions of Trump. I think that as this whole refugee global terrorism thing kind of unwinds a little bit, I think that you're going to start seeing more and more little mini Trumps come about with more extreme politics. I'm not saying that everybody that's going to get elected in these European elections is going to be a fucking billionaire with retarded hair, but I'm just saying you're going to see more of the nationalism, less globalism. I don't know. I don't want to say protectionism, but I think you're going to see a lot of people go, fucking A, yeah, let's like enforce our borders. Let's not be so nice. Like, fuck this PC bullshit. So I think whether it's for good or bad, I welcome the change up. Again, not a huge fan of Trump as a person, but I am a huge fan of the fucking shakeup that has happened in politics because of him. What else we got going on here? Hundreds of thousands in Iran chant "Death to America." Let's see. Do I have a link for this? No, I don't. But hundreds of thousands of people in Iran, all in a big, like, essentially women's march on DC, but all hundreds of thousands. I guess that's a lot of fucking people. Hundreds of thousands? That's what I read. I don't know if that's true or not. That's a lot of fucking people, but they're all chanting "Death to America." And these are the same people that want in the country. Death to America, please let us in. And the last little bullet point I've got here. France is building a wall around the Eiffel Tower. A bulletproof wall. I think I have a link to this. This is hilarious. Yes, here we go. Paris to build bulletproof wall around Eiffel Tower. And I love this. There's a quote here. I'm going to try to find it. It's not just a wall. It's a bulletproof wall. And I'm trying to find the fucking quote here. Oh, here it is. This is fucking hilarious. This is like the biggest case of this is like calling your garbage man like a sanitation engineer. Sadly, the risk of terrorism hasn't gone away. Deputy Mayor Jean-Francois Martin at Paris press conference. This is a necessity in terms of security, but also to reestablish a link with blah 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 blah. He told journalists, "It's not a wall. It's an aesthetic perimeter." This bulletproof wall that we're building, it's not a wall. It's an aesthetic perimeter. What a load of shit. Is Trump going to call the Mexican wall an aesthetic perimeter? That's fucking hilarious. That is like the new alternative facts. An aesthetic perimeter. That's what we should call the wall. An aesthetic perimeter. I can't believe that's a real quote. It's not a wall. It's an aesthetic perimeter. Oh, we actually do have some more topics here. I'm looking at my podcast bookmarks. We got some more. Oh, this is a big one I almost didn't hit. The Dear White People thing. What is going on? Why did it just make that noise? I have no idea why that happened. So, Netflix unveiled a new trailer. Let's just watch the trailer. Fuck it. I hope I don't get content ID'd for this. God damn it, Netflix, you better not. All right, let's watch it.
Dear white people, here's a list of acceptable Halloween costumes. Pirate, slutty nurse, any of our first 43 presidents. Top of the list of unacceptable costumes, me.
Okay, so this is a new Netflix series, new Netflix original series called Dear White People. And holy shit, people have lost their minds over this. It's got 45,000 likes and 364,000 dislikes. This is on record, on pace to become one of the most disliked videos on YouTube. People are canceling their Netflix subscription. One guy says, "Cancel my subscription. I'm black and this is diarrhea. I'll never apologize for the color of my skin." A lot of people are really up in arms about this. I think Netflix knows exactly what they're doing. This is my prediction for this Dear White People show. I have a feeling that they released this trailer on purpose to have it do exactly what it did, to stir the pot and bring a lot of attention to this thing. In reality, I think this show will probably be exactly the opposite of what it looks like here. I think this will probably be a pretty smart show. Apparently, there was a Dear White People movie that was actually pretty smart in a lot of ways and, you know, covered the whole issue of race tastefully. I haven't watched it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I have a feeling that this show will be the exact opposite of what it is in this preview. I think it'll probably be a pretty good show. And I think that Netflix is not... maybe I'm giving them too much credit because I really enjoy a lot of the Netflix original series. Like, Netflix, in my opinion, has just been crushing it. They've been batting 1,000. They have a lot of really fucking cool shit now. So I'm a fan, dude. I really like Netflix a lot. I think it's one of the greatest values in entertainment. So I don't think they're retarded. I think there's a lot of really smart people over at Netflix, and they had to have known this was going to happen. So, and they had to have known that it was going to cause some backlash and people were going to cancel their subscriptions and stuff. So they intentionally did this because they probably know that they've got a winner here. So I think this Dear White People show will probably be good. It'll probably be really good. Or at least not what you think it is. I think it'll be I don't think it'll be as ridiculous as this is made out to be. So yeah, people are losing their minds over this. I'm not. I think they're playing a little 4D chess here, and I think this is actually going to turn out to be a good thing for them because people are going to... This is my prediction. I think that Netflix is going to come out and the show is going to release, and then people are going to be like, look at all these fucking conservative fucks, all these dumbasses. The show comes out and it's nothing like that, and they're gonna have a big like aha moment. Netflix is going to be like, aha, we got you, look. Meanwhile, while they released a trailer that was very dishonest for what the actual product was, but that's just my prediction. So, Dear White People, probably not going to be that big of a deal, in my opinion. What else got on the list here? I hit Diamond in Overwatch, only playing Tracer. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast yet. But I have been streaming some Overwatch recently, and I had a really fun stream last night. Had about, 40 some people watching? I'm not a big Twitch streamer. But had about 40 people watching, and I had a goal to hit Diamond in Overwatch only playing Tracer, and we actually ended up doing that, which was pretty fun. I wonder if I can hit Master. The reason, so I'm a Diamond player. I would say I'm a pretty solid Diamond player. I think that if I tried pretty hard and like really worked it, I think I could get up to Master. But I'm a casual gamer, and I don't play the game that much. And my FPS skills are not up to par like they were in the beta. But, yeah, that was fun. So I think I'm going to try to stream some Overwatch here and there. I'm not going to say I'm going to be consistent with it. But I have been streaming on the weekends a little bit here and there, so check out my streams if you're interested in that. I would say I'm going to stream next weekend, but Crowfall, the Templar is coming out, and I'm probably going to work on some Crowfall stuff. Probably. God, dude, I tell you what, man, this having a life bullshit is tough on your boy, man. I really just don't have a lot of time. I know I sound like a broken record, and I'm like one of those people complaining about not having time, but Jesus Christ, like now that I'm working out and, you know, I work 50 hours a week and I do the podcast and I like to do some YouTube stuff, it really just, I don't even have friends. Like, I don't even have a social life. I can't imagine if I had a social life. Fuck. Dude, Christ. I'm a casual gamer now. I'm a casual YouTuber. That's what it's like. It's all catching up to me. Let me look and see if I got anything else here fun to show. Oh, this is actually just kind of interesting. I don't have any. God, fuck all these websites that have auto-playing videos.
Hey guys, you're here with Cinema.
God, I'm so sorry. Okay, this is actually just a cool little thing. It's a map of the United States broken down by the most popular game. And every single state in the United States, the most popular game is either League of Legends or World of Warcraft, which is crazy. I can't believe World of Warcraft is still on top like that. But I guess so. I guess it's the most popular. I mean, it's not anywhere close to how popular it used to be, but I guess it's still the most popular one of. So World of Warcraft is, I guess, most popular in like the middle of the country. And on the coasts, it's more League of Legends. So League of Legends is the most popular in Virginia. I'm looking for... We expect games like Overwatch to claim a state or two down the line. California went to League of Legends. Texas went to League of Legends. New York went to League of Legends. A lot of the big states went to League of Legends, but a lot of the middle of the country holding it up for WoW. Florida, the only big state WoW's got is Florida, really. So I'd say League of Legends with California and Texas and New York is probably holding it down. But yeah, I found that a little bit interesting. And the last thing we got here is we got some drug busts in Radford, Virginia. 2 big drug busts. I'm not familiar on my drugs, but this guy, Radford, my little hometown, population 12,000, they ended up busting a guy, 18 years old. This guy's a fucking entrepreneur. 18 years old. He had $25,375 in cash and a ton of drugs. Like, I'm not sure what the street value on these drugs are, but are we looking at like $50,000 in this picture right here? He had a drug, a handgun, what looks like a fucking shitload of weed. He had cocaine, marijuana, MDMA, a firearm, and $25,375 in cash. And this guy is 18 years old. And then they busted another guy in Radford, Virginia, that didn't have anywhere close to the amount of shit this guy had. This guy, they busted him. 22 years old. He had way more drugs. This guy has a lot of fucking drugs. But no cash. I like how they show the pictures of all the drugs too. Seized as part of the and there we go. They found 3/4 of a pound of marijuana, 1 ounce of MDMA, 3.5 grams of cocaine, and 500 Xanax pills. I'm not a big drug guy, but I have a feeling most of the money is from the 500 Xanax pills. I'm not sure. I would think 3/4 of a pound of marijuana is probably a lot too. Really, that's only 3/4 of a pound? It looks like they weigh a lot more, but I guess it's plants, so it doesn't weigh that much. I think the 500 pills would be a lot. Anyway, somebody school me up on these drugs. I don't know. I'm not a druggie. All right, what else we got here? I think that's it. Netflix, Iron Fist, and House of Cards. Yeah, I'm curious when House of Cards is gonna come back. I don't know why I wrote that in my phone. I have nothing to talk about there. Yeah, that's it. Let's pull up the comments from last week here. Community. Should have had this pulled up. Community comments. Hive Mind 64. Newest. All right. Watched some of your videos before on Wildstar and Crowfall, but never subscribed. But after watching some of your podcasts, instant subscribe. Loving it so far, especially the political stuff. I've been trying to stay away from political stuff because of all the leftist bullshit. It's really refreshing to see a gamer actually calling out the bullshit instead of praising it or defending it. I do listen to political commentary otherwise, like Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro, but it is really nice to hear that there is a gamer who isn't part of the insanity that is on the left right now. And then he appreciates my headset choice. I am the only, like, I don't want to say that, but I think I'm one of the few, like hardcore gamer people that actually has taken on the politics role. Like, I feel like a lot of people, I mean, for good reason, they don't want to be a part of it. So they either don't want to be a part of it at all and don't talk about it at all, or they're one of these wishy-washy motherfuckers that doesn't pick a side, which I think is even more annoying. I'm a big fan of Boogie. He's even talked about me in some of his videos before. But I really dislike how he doesn't take a stance on stuff. And I'm a big fan of him. He's even mentioned me in, like, personally in one of his videos, saying, like, because I left a comment on one of his videos like 5 years before he blew up, saying he was gonna blow up. Maybe I'll link that video if I can find it. But big fan of the dude. But the whole, like, I'm gonna play both sides on every single thing, no matter what, not pick a side, not like stand for something. And maybe I'm incorrect. I could be incorrect on that. Maybe he has taken a hard stance on some stuff. But every video I've seen of him, it's always like, I don't want to pick a side because I don't ever want to make anyone mad at all. Whereas I really respect people that go, fuck you, and intentionally piss off a bunch of people and take a stand on something that is that they believe in, whether I agree with them or not. So I like that. Moving on. What is my opinion on labor/skill union jobs such as welders, pipe fitters, boilermakers, steam fitters, and all other unions that smash buttons all day versus publicly funded unions such as teachers, firefighters? Personally, I believe in skilled union jobs and social unions because it really is an honest dollar, but most people associate unions with smashing buttons and getting paid more for it. I think unions are complicated, right? Unions are a good thing and a bad thing. But I think ultimately this is another situation where unions are like healthcare, where it's complicated. And I think ultimately the free market will correct itself. And if these unions get too overbearing, which they fucking did in Detroit, then the automakers will move out of Detroit. And they fucking did. And not all of these automakers moved out of Detroit and went overseas. Some of them moved out of Detroit and just went to another fucking place in the United States. So unions, I think it's hard to say whether they're good or bad. I think it's just one of those things where there's going to be some good ones and going to be some bad ones. But ultimately, the free market will correct itself. And if the unions do get too overbearing, then the manufacturers will say fuck it, and I've seen that happen locally. I think Volvo locally over here, the unions got really fucking crazy, and Volvo just said fuck it, like, you're all gone, like, we're just gonna see ya. And they weren't bluffing, and they fucking did, and the unions had to back down some. If I remember that correctly, I might be wrong on that, but yeah, ultimately, I think the free market will correct itself in most situations. I realize it's a little bit complicated with teachers and stuff, but I'm not versed enough to be able to give an opinion on that. But anyway, that's what I think. Am I planning on getting For Honor? No. It looks like a fun game, but I'm just not really into that kind of stuff. I'm not into that Dark Souls kind of combat with, like, parrying and I don't know. Just not into it. Have I listened to Joe Rogan 9/11 with Alex Jones? Yes, I have. It was pretty good. I wish the Eddie Bravo guy wasn't there. He was kind of annoying. But it was pretty fun. I like Alex Jones. I think Alex Jones is a guy that does more good than bad. I think he's a good guy to have in the political sphere. because he does go fucking crazy on some shit with gay frogs and whatever. And you have to keep in mind with people like Alex Jones that guys like Alex Jones absolutely hit the nail on the head sometimes. They absolutely do. So I really hate it when people instantly discredit Alex Jones because he'll say some crazy, ridiculous shit. Because they do hit the fucking nail on the head sometimes, and it's fucking magnificent when they do. But you have to also keep in mind that Alex Jones is in the business of selling you. He's got to sell you this like globalist conspiracy shit. That's his fucking business model. And the same goes for CNN. The same goes with, this is a good piece of advice I'll give to anyone. No matter what part of life you're interacting with, always think of the business model. Whenever you're watching the news, whenever you're at the doctor's office, whenever you're whatever, always think about that person's business model. How are they making money? And if you think about everything from that perspective, you'll become kind of cold-hearted like me, but you'll also, in my opinion, become wiser, because everybody's got a business model, everybody's trying to sell something, and if you look at the world through that lens, you'll, in my opinion, be a little bit wiser for it. So whenever you listen to something, whenever you watch something, whenever you listen to me, fuck, I've got a business model. Buy Crowfall. Use my referral link. That's my only sponsor right now, really. But yeah, buy Crowfall with my referral link. God damn it, link in the description. But yeah, everybody's got something. So anyway, moving on. Oh my fucking god, I swear to god, every time I see a top 10 channel or a countdown channel or any sort of video, they all look like the same thing. Yeah, that's just the way it is, man. So dude, there's like a big fucking divide in the comments section between people that want me to get a co-host and people that like the podcast solo more. So I am always on the lookout for a good co-host. If something pops up and it's like, oh my god, that guy will be perfect, then I'll get a co-host. But here's the thing. I'm going to err on the side of not getting a co-host, and this is selfish because it's easier on me. I'm a part-time YouTuber. I do this shit for fun, and I do this shit at random times. Right now it's 6:30 p.m. I just got back from the gym, and this is the part of the day where I have time to do it. I've done these in the past at like 3 a.m, so it's really nice for me not having to coordinate with somebody and just sitting down and doing it whenever I have free time. And the fact that it seemingly is about 50-50, well, at least to the people that are active. I think a lot of people just don't give a shit whether it goes either way. And the analytics seem to prove that people like the solo podcast more because people are liking it. People are listening for longer, but that might not be because of the co-host thing at all. So I'm going to keep doing them solo for now. But I think a good compromise is for me to do them solo and have an occasional guest. I think that would be good to mix things up. And also, that wouldn't hurt me in terms of scheduling, because if I have the time to sit down and get a guest and lock them down, that means I obviously have time, right? Whereas every week I'm not going to have time to coordinate, and it's a fucking pain in the ass to coordinate with somebody because you have conflicting schedules, and I'm not a full-time YouTuber, and my co-host would not be a full-time YouTuber likely. So it's harder than you think. Moving on. I used to be down in the dumps all the time and depressed, and I went through some trying times, and I had a dream that it was my fault for not seeing the light in the world. I kept trying to see it. I kept trying for 5 years, and I can see the light now. Okay. I feel wonderful. Okay, so this guy struggled with depression for 5 years and eventually snapped out of it. Good for you, man. It's always good. I think everybody goes through some shit. I know I have, where I was down the dumps there for a little bit, and I had to make some changes. Fuck pandas. There's no way Zyback can run for public office now, LMAO. Question for Chewbacca. What is your favorite film in the history of ever? Mine is Fury Road. I know, unpopular opinion. Is that an unpopular opinion? Didn't people love the shit out of that movie? I'm not a big movie guy. I watch, like, a lot of the Marvel stuff. But I wouldn't say those are all good movies. It's hard for me to say I have a favorite, because I really don't, because I'm just not a big enough movie fan to say I do. I'm sure if somebody listed off some movies, I could pick out my favorite out of the ones listed, but it's hard for me to say, so I just trolled and said Corey in the House All-Star Edition. Moving on. Although generally transgenderism is a topic I agree with, excluding the 50,000 other genders other than male or female, I can appreciate your view on the Boy Scout implementation on the gender rule. I believe this is more of an inclusive thing ranging from adolescent to adult ages. I haven't been in the Boy Scouts in a long time. I think I was 16 or 17 in my final bracket. It's well supported that the failed acknowledgement of gender development can lead to extremely taxing effects such as anxiety, depression, and anger issues. I think this is a rule I would typically support, as I doubt less targeted children. Okay. That being said, I agree that the idea of transgenderism should not be something fully encouraged growing up at less cognitive stages of youth. Okay. So you agree? I think that's what that means. I guess moving on. That was a long comment. It's my fucking brain is scrambled by this point in the podcast. We're an hour and 12 minutes in. I've been talking to myself, losing my mind. Here's a question. I did not see your YouTube silver play button yet. Did I receive it? Yes, I do. It's right behind me. I'm gonna fuck up my webcam doing this, but fuck it. There it is, right there. Oh, my perspective is fucked up. Oh, dude, this is hard. Right there. There's my play button. Oh, my webcam is right back in place. Yeah, buddy. As a very conservative Christian, I definitely don't agree with everything you say, but man, you are on point with a lot of these topics. That's the idea, man. I would be a little bit wary of anybody that fully agrees with everything I say, because I say some fucking crazy shit. And that's the way I am with a lot of people. Like, I listen to Ben Shapiro, and I listen to like the Louder Crowd. Like, I listen to a lot of people, a lot of like political commentators, and I don't agree with them. I don't agree with any of them 100%. I don't agree with a lot of stuff like 100%. Like Ted Cruz, for example. Like I said out earlier, I was kind of becoming a fan of Ted Cruz. I disagree with Ted Cruz on a lot of fucking shit, especially like the religious shit. But when it comes to healthcare and whatever, shitting on Bernie, I'm like, yeah, fucking rock on Ted Cruz. So it's not about having to agree with me 100% at all. I'm all for differing opinions. That's what makes things interesting. It would be fucking really boring if everyone agreed with me. And in fact, that's something, a qualification why I got Dope on the podcast, is because I knew he was going to disagree with me. And it makes for a more interesting conversation when you have people that disagree. And that's the same thing with my current, with me finding another co-host. That's a qualification. Like somebody was saying, you should get a Trump supporter as a, you should get a hardcore Trump supporter as a co-host. That'd be funny. I'm like, no, it wouldn't. That wouldn't be funny at all. Because I'm not a hardcore Trump supporter by any means, but I would not be enough of a differing opinion for it to be a fun conversation, because he would say some shit and be like, yeah, I agree. It'd be the I agree podcast, and that would suck shit. So I gotta have somebody that disagrees with me for it to be fun. I mean, we can agree on a lot of stuff, but I mean, for example, like Dope and I, we disagreed on what gun control was something we disagreed on. We disagreed on tons of stuff, but we also agreed on a lot of stuff, and I think it made for a good show. A lot of people are telling me to check out that Alex Jones podcast, dude. A lot of people. There's another Zyback talk about the Alex Jones Joe Rogan podcast. I don't really have that much to say about it. I think a lot of people that listen to that podcast didn't know who Alex Jones was. Like, I've known who Alex Jones was for years, and I've listened to a ton of his shit before because it's fascinating. So I think a lot of people that were blowing me up about this thing, this is their first introduction to Alex Jones. It's like they're losing their Alex Jones virginity. So they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy. Whereas I'm not really surprised. Hive my one podcast with one caster slowly becoming let's talk about Trump for an hour and a half. I agree. That's not always going to be the case, but this podcast is going to be like an evolution. There will be a time in this podcast where I talk about Crowfall for like 50% of the time. I'm just going to tell you right now. If Crowfall comes out and that's the game I'm no lifing and thinking about all the time, there will be a point in this podcast where I talk about Crowfall or Overwatch or whatever X game or whatever crazy thing that's happening. But right now, Trump is just is dominating my headspace because there's so much hilarious shit happening around politics that it's hard to not talk about it. But the podcast will change and evolve, and that's why it's probably always going to be a smaller podcast. BSA is hardly dying. It's just not as vibrant in your area, but in mine is still thriving. Also, okay, so he's saying the Boy Scouts are not dying, but he gets my point. They're dying. The Boy Scouts are dying. It's been in decline for a decade, and they're losing 4% enrollment every year. So, it's not like it's like when you say that WoW is dying. Like WoW is dying. It's losing more and more players over time. I think Legion had a nice little bump there. Legion was pretty good, but for the most part, the game is slowly declining. Anything that is in a slow decline is dying. Yes, the Boy Scouts of America are still huge, but they've been losing 4% every year for a decade. Like, they're fucking dying. It's just, that's the trend. You got to think about shit on a long-term graph, a long-term trend. So, the same people that say that WoW is dying, and the only way you can say that WoW isn't dying is if Legion happens, they get a bump in players, then the next expansion happens, and it starts going up again, consistently going up. Then you can say, wow, it's back to life, it's not dying. But if you look at it from a long graph, from Wrath of the Lich King to Legion, and you graph it out like it's a fucking stock, and you see it slowly going down, and then a little bump in Legion, and down, like, you gotta think about it long term. What is the most controversial opinion that I have that you can think of? Love your podcast. Thanks for addressing my comment on dopamine or on depression, not dopamine. Fuck. Thanks. I'll try getting out in the real world more too. I applied to college, so hopefully I can get in and get my life sorted. And I said my views on abortion are probably the most controversial views that I have. I think that probably is my most controversial viewpoint because it pisses off both sides. So that's probably my most controversial one. Dude, they're the same headphones I got. Mixed. Okay, yeah, that's just more acknowledging my good choice of headphones. I think this new life mood you made is great. I still remember the video you made from a long time ago about going to school and college. It made me feel kind of shitty because I was like, look at this motherfucker trying to better his life, but at the same time, I was sort of in the same boat. I was just working at a shitty job just to pay for my WoW sub. Well, thank you. My sister bought a baby doll for her son. Should I be worried about that? Not sure if it's trying to teach him something, but he is one. So this guy's worried about his sister buying a baby doll for her son. I guess assuming that he's gonna turn into a fucking transgender. No, that's not a thing. I think that's so crazy that people like to assume like the toys that kids play with is relevant to their fucking gender identity. That's fucking crazy. Like, I've seen both sides bring this up, saying that boys shouldn't play with girl toys and girls shouldn't play with boy toys. I remember when I was a kid, dude, there was a fucking pink Easy Bake Oven, which is a girl's toy. I believe Easy Bake Ovens are fucking considered girls' toys. I was doing all kinds of fucking science experiments in that thing. I was making all kinds of fucking crazy shit in that Easy Bake Oven. I can't believe that's even a kid's toy. Yes. Let's allow children to have access to portable ovens. So I was having all kinds of fun with that girl's toy. And and to gender swap it, I knew a lot of girls that loved playing with Legos and fucking building blocks and all kinds of boys' toys. So I don't think that's fucking relevant at all. I don't think just because your little girl likes to play with Legos that she wants to identify as Jeff the construction worker or whatever. That's fucking ridiculous. But I will say that boys' toys are fucking superior to girls' toys in every way, except for maybe the Easy Bake Oven. I had a lot of fucking fun with an Easy Bake Oven when I was a kid. Some fun times there. Have I ever thought to contact Chiz to get on PKA? I'm just not a big enough draw, dude. I'm a fucking small time YouTuber with a yeah, I'm a small time YouTuber. I'm just not a big enough draw, man. Thanks for liking my response. On a side note, we were trying to bring back mammoths to save permafrost. How the fuck? Because the mammoth will eat organic matter in the permafrost instead of it just going into the air after rotting. It's a huge scientific process. I heard Joe Rogan talking about it. Well, I could see that. Surely there's some other animal that would eat that rotting permafrost shit that wouldn't involve bringing woolly mammoths back to life. Like, there's gotta be a fucking way more simple solution. Like, can't you just get some goats? Like, they eat tin cans, man. They'll eat anything. Just get some goats over there. Was it you that made a YouTube video years ago about your stepmother throwing your computer out in the street? Nope, that was not me. Another nice comment here. Very ignorant. Good luck with your dying channel. Give up on YouTube, you failure. Very specific. What web browser am I using? I use a combination of Firefox and Chrome because I like to stay logged into a bunch of different accounts. And having two browsers is necessary because I have a dummy YouTube account that I use to check like sub boxes and if shit's working, whatever. Do I think these riots are going to stop happening after a few months? No. I think the fucking left has completely lost their mind. It's going to keep happening. Especially now that the weather's getting a little warmer. When you say Jesus Christ, does that... One second. When you say, oh my God, Jesus Christ, this and that, when you don't believe in God, please let me know. And I said, there are common expressions of speech that pack a punch. They're also just fun to say. And this guy says, that means God exists. Thanks. Is this guy trolling? Oh my God, this... I can't even go down this route. This is literally a comment war for like... This is like 50 comments. Talking about... I'm not even going to get into that. I'm sorry. That's just a long thread there. What's the mic I use? It's the Audio-Technica AT2020. I know what you mean to an extent about depression and loneliness. I'm not a big YouTuber streamer, but I left my home in the Palm Desert and moved around a lot. So I started homeschooling from 9th grade till now when I'm 18 years old. And I have a boring office job, but I'm much happier with my boring office job than I did doing my schoolwork and playing video games 90% of the time. Yeah, dude, I totally get where you're coming from, man. I went from a lot of people... I'm way more happy now with my normal 9 to 5. Well, I wish I worked 9 to 5. I work 50 hours a week, 4 days a week. I guess my 6 to 7 job than I was being a full-time gamer. You would think that being paid to play video games as your job would be, roses and, the greatest time ever, right? But I'm more happy now with my normal job than I was doing that, because it's man, there's a lot that goes into YouTube and Twitch full-time that a lot of people just don't know about. So I'm glad to step away and do it part-time. I still love doing YouTube. I still love doing Twitch, but it was not a good move for me to do it full-time for as long as I did. I did have a lot of fun doing it full-time for 4 out of the 5 years I did it. But after a lot of it really relies on the game, man. Like I didn't have a good MMO to play, and I felt like empty because of it. And I don't know, man. I'm having a lot more fun being a casual again. So I don't want to get into that because I could talk about that forever. Did I watch the Joe Rogan podcast with Alex Jones? So saying expecting mother is wrong, but pregnant women is okay. Yada. These people need to get professional help for their mental illness. Yeah, that's, yep. Can't wait for the next podcast when you realize Gaga did a spectacular job with no extra shit. Yeah, I talked about that. Good for her for not doing what she did. But at the same time, she was doing this shit in Texas on Fox News. Fox News is hosting the Super Bowl. Or not Fox News. Fox was hosting the Super Bowl. And she was, performing in Texas. So, like, I don't think it's that brave of a decision not to make a political statement in Texas on Fox. So, maybe she would have if it was in New York on NBC. So, who knows? Zyback, come on, dude. I've been with you for a long time. Why do you dislike transgender people? I respect you, but really, I attempted suicide when I was fucking 9 because my dad beat me when I said I was a girl and I didn't want a dick. I got sent to fucking electroshock therapy. And I responded, I don't dislike transgender people. I just don't agree with the extra sensitivity bullshit. I also don't agree that your biological gender is equal to your preferred gender. I also don't hate people with depression, ADHD, OCD, anorexia, or any other condition. And his response to that was, I agree. I guess he's cool with me now. That's my stance. I don't hate transgender people, but I just don't agree that it's fucking normal. But at the same time, I don't hate people with depression. I don't hate people with OCD, anorexia. I don't hate people with any sort of condition. But I just don't think it's a normal thing to be like, yes, I'm a guy with a dick that fucking blasts out semen that can impregnate women, but I'm a woman. Like, I just don't think that's normal. But again, there's a lot of stuff in our society that's not normal. It's, fucking blowing your load on some tits is not normal either. I don't know, there's so many fucking things that are weird in society now. So I don't hate transgendered people, but let's not say it's not a little weird. It's definitely a little fucking weird. This podcast is getting more red pilled every episode. Good shit posting this early. I appreciate that you appreciate that I get this podcast out early because it is it takes a lot of work, man. There's a lot of stuff in the background that it needs to happen for me to get the podcast up early on Monday mornings. So I'm glad that you appreciate that. Hopefully I'll get a haircut. Yeah, I got a haircut, man. Woo, looking sharp. Anyway, that's it for the comments this week. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Episode 65 of the Hive Mind podcast. Let me make sure that's right. Yep. Episode 65. Be sure to check out the podcast on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Twitch. Follow my Instagram, Zyback TV on Instagram. So check that out. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. I got to piss, so we're ending it now. See you guys next week. Have a good one.